Cassie and the gang are celebrating after they've solved another case and saved a child when Agent Sterling, their new supervisor, shows up. She is very strict and doesn't really like the Naturals program and decides to make the kids focus on their education and take some tests. We find out that Agent Sterling and Agent Briggs were partners and worked on the team to take down serial killer Daniel Redding, who is Dean's father. Dean also reveals that Agent Briggs and Agent Sterling used to be married. Briggs and Sterling leave because a new case just opened up. And they also mention that someone got the press involved, so naturally the gang turned on the TV and discovered that a girl named Emerson Cole was tortured, strangled, and her body was displayed on the Colonial University campus. The person of interest in this stage of the case is George Fogel, a professor who teaches a class on serial killers. Dean notices similarities in the brutal murder of Emerson Cole and the way his father used to kill his victims. Leah convinces Cassie and Michael to go to Colonial University with her, where Cassie meets a boy named Jeffrey, who is the teaching assistant in Professor Fogel's class on serial killers. Jeffrey reveals that Professor Fogel studied the Daniel Redding case for 5 years and is now writing a book on him. Michael and Cassie meet Leah on the roof with two guys named Derek and Clark. Derek tells them about how close Professor Fogel and Emerson were, and let's just say they were real close. Clark seems upset by this, and then the gang return home. The person who killed Emerson Cole is obsessed with Daniel Redding, so Briggs needs Dean's help because Daniel Redding will only speak to his son. Cassie also goes to the prison with them, and a security guard named Weber starts being annoying and puts Agent Sterling and Cassie in an observation room where they can see Dean and his father and Agent Briggs. Daniel Redding tells them about Professor Fogel's cabin and that one of Fogel's students was sending him letters. Cassie notices a scar under Agent Sterling's collarbone, and Sterling tells her about how Daniel Redding captured her and Dean helped her survive. They find the professor, but it's too late. Someone has killed him. Sloan finds out that Clark shares multiple classes with Emerson and he also likes hunting. They also find a recording of Fogel's class the day that Emerson died, which gives everyone in the class an alibi. Dean decides to return to his hometown and visit a woman named Trina Sims, who visited Daniel Redding in jail often. Cassie and Michael go with him, and Trina is just kind of insane. She thinks Daniel Redding should be set free, and it's okay if he killed people because he was just a genius. Her son Christopher seems annoyed the entire time, and he grabs Cassie to try to force them all to leave. Sterling is super duper annoyed that they snuck out again, and she puts an ankle monitor on Cassie. And then it turns out Trina Sims got murdered as soon as they left, and her son Christopher seems to have an alibi since he was at the police station with Agent Briggs when it happened. Cassie interviews Daniel Redding, and the Naturals realize that there are two killers who are killing each other's victims, and that's how they all seem to have an alibi. Briggs gets a call telling him that Clark was murdered, and that they found thousands of pictures in his room of Emerson Cole. But we do find out that Clark was the one who killed Trina Sims because they found his DNA under her fingernails. They figure out that Christopher Sims is the other killer, and he gets arrested while he's waiting to meet his next victim. And then the gang celebrate, but something doesn't add up. So if the killers were killing each other's victims, and Clark chose Emerson, Christopher chose Trina, then who chose the girl that Christopher was planning on killing when he was arrested? Cassie and Agent Sterling are awake late at night, discussing the possibility of a third killer when they both get kidnapped. They get taken to a cabin in the middle of the woods, and they find out that their kidnapper is a security guard from the prison. He sets Cassie free because he's just feeling nice, guys. His daily act of kindness is fulfilled. People change. Just joking. He sets her free because he's going to hunt her. And he does. He lets her go in the woods, and then he follows her in with a rifle and tries to find her. But luckily, Agent Briggs finds them because of Cassie's ankle monitor, and he deals with the security guard, and everyone goes home. Well, probably to the hospital first, but then, you know. Agent Sterling moves into the house, and the Naturals will now be allowed to work on active cases. Yay! The end.